Alright, so this is the battle between Ed and myself. This is our table set up. The building terrain, like the constructed things, are actually just hills, and what look like hills are actually forests, and the white stuff is one big river rushing through the center. So the only part that you can really cross the river unimpeded is over the hill. So Ed decided that the far left, as per this view, would be the west, and that's where I invaded the hex. And then my second banner, which is going to come in after the first, will come in from the southwest, which is the bottom corner underneath that hill and forest. And then his banner will come on, his second banner will come on from the southeast over near the little spiky looking hill. So that's going to be the terrain. Lots of forests and just a smattering of hills and water. And this is my army. We have, starting from the bottom left, in Banner 1 is a Hell Cannon. The lone figure is a Sorcerer Lord on Death, level 4, on foot, with 18 of my Warriors of Chaos with halberds and shields. And behind that is a BSB on a demonic mount. So that was Banner 9, and that's the one that did the initial invading. On the right is the second banner, Banner 10, with a Demon Prince, kitted out well, but no magic. Another unit of 18 warriors with halberds and shields. And then 2 units of 10 Forsaken. They're Forsaken of Slaanesh, which gives them Swift Stride. So they're pretty quick. They're move 6 and they have Swift Stride. So they're almost like cavalry in that way. Okay, so this is Ed on the far right is his initial banner. It is a unit of 10 skink skirmishers with blowpipes and a hero. That was what was defending the hex. And then on the left, that's one large unit of Saurus on the right, the green guys, with in front a Scarvet. On the left is a Slann with Temple Guard, inside the Temple Guard, and then behind them are Jungle Swarms. So these are the spells that I rolled up. I was able to get Caress of Lenif, however that is pronounced, Soul Blight, Doom and Darkness, The Fate of Bajuna, and Purple Sun. This is pretty much exactly what I would have wanted. I got 2 sets of doubles, as you can see by the dice there. Ed had on his Slann Wandering Deliberations, so that means that he knows all the signature spells from the 8 BRB lores. Which is going to serve him. It gives him a lot of good utility, especially in trying to deal with my 2 demonic things, the Hell Cannon and the Demon Prince. So this is my initial deployment. We rolled our scouting off, and Ed won by a few points, but he only had 1 unit that was scouting, so I got to deploy first. So I put my Hell Cannon on that far hill so it could see over any intervening obstacles. The BSB is in front close enough to allow rerolls for leadership, and next to the BSB is the unit of warriors with the Death Wizard. Ed plopped his unit of aquatic skinks over in Corner River, pretty much as far away as possible and out of the range of the Hell Cannon. And this was turn 1. I was able to not have my Hell Cannon rampage, so it marched 6 inches forward, following the rest of my troops that marched forward. My magic, nothing was in range of his skinks, and so I didn't cast anything, and the top of turn 1 ended. The bottom of turn 1, Ed just marched his skinks forward into a forest, and that was it. Start of turn 2, I again just moved forward. My Hell Cannon passed its leadership and didn't rampage. As you can see, I'm heading my troops towards the only place I can get through the river there, so I can get over to where Ed's troops are going to be coming on so we can get into battle. Since nothing else really happened in turn 2, Ed just moved forward a little bit more. I've skipped to after my move phase of turn 3, so my second banner was able to come on here in the southwest. So on the right by the river, a unit of Forsaken came on, and then they reformed to face forward. The other unit of warriors is right between them and Forsaken behind them, and then the Demon Prince was able to move forward. And everything else just kind of shimmied on up. So everything is moving over towards the corner where Ed will be. So I actually risked trying to shoot my Hell Cannon at the Skinks. Luckily it did not misfire, but it also did not land on the Skinks. It just went way off the board. This was also fortuitous for Ed because I had Doom and Darkness to those Skinks, so they probably would have just fled anyway. Of course, we both kind of wanted them to flee, Ed so he wouldn't lose anything, and me so that he wouldn't kill any of my warriors. In the three-way game with Ed and Kurt, this unit of Skinks killed 3 warriors, so there's a bit of a grudge there. So this is the turn right before Ed's troops get on. So turn 5, the top of turn 5, you can see I've moved my troops forward as much as possible. I've got the 2 units of Forsaken moving through the river. Since they have a move of 6, the inability to march doesn't bother them too much. The warriors right above that have a banner of swiftness, and with the move of 5, they'll be able to make it through as well. The other warriors in the BSB have gone through. At this point, I've decided to turn the Hell Cannon towards the Skinks, but I'm not worried about firing it. I'm just trying to allow for the Demon Prince and the Hell Cannon to be able to force the Skinks off the board. Ed is kind of positioning them in a place where they'll be able to flee if necessary, but also maybe get some pot shots off and do some wounds to those big Griblies. So here we can see Ed's troops coming on. He's got his jungle swarms, which we realized right after this that they're skirmishers, so that's why they're not in skirmish at this moment. His huge block of Saurus warriors with the Scarvet, and then right next to them is the Temple Guard block with the Slann. At this point in time, the Skinks attempted to shoot the Demon Prince, but didn't do anything. The Slann casts Wild Form on the Saurus, and also attempts a boosted Burning Gaze on the Hell Cannon that I quickly dispel, and then one dice Miasma to the Forsaken unit closest to him, and was able to subtract 3 from their weapon skill, meaning that they're going to need 5s to be able to hit the jungle swarms. Here you can see after Ed's move before he cast the spells that I just mentioned. Alright, so here we are at the top of turn 6. My Hell Cannon rampaged into the Skinks because it failed its leadership. It failed its leadership the turn before, which is why it turned to face those Skinks. So it failed leadership again, and I roll 3d6 for a random move, which means that he actually couldn't flee with his Skinks, which was kind of disappointing for Ed. Then that meant that I did not want to charge the Demon Prince in as well, so I just let the Hell Cannon go into those guys. I did do a double charge onto the Jungle Swarms with the Forsaken that have lost 3 to their weapon skill, as well as the BSB, and then I moved Forsaken up, the other unit of Forsaken, and just repositioned the warriors to deal with future charges that I wanted to do. In the magic phase, I had big dice. I attempted to cast Caress, but that was dispelled on the Scarvet. I did put Doom and Darkness in the Skinks, which meant that the Hell Cannon was going to be able to make them flee. And then I also cast Purple Sun, and the Purple Sun didn't, Ed tried to dispel it, but failed to, and it moved forward just in front of the Saurus, which means since, as per the new FAQ, from GW, it counts as immovable terrain and you can't move into it or charge through it, so it blocked the Saurus from being able to go into my Forsaken and BSB, but also blocked my Forsaken and BSB from being able to go into the Saurus. So here's the view after Purple Sun moved forward. Also, before casting Purple Sun, I put Soul Blight on the Saurus, which counteracted the Wild Form that Ed had cast on it the turn before. In close combat, the Hell Cannon kills the Skink Chief from Ed's first banner, and then causes the Skinks to flee, but they're Doom and Darkness, so they end up not rallying. They're going to flee off the board. Down on the bottom, the Exalted Hero BSB and the Forsaken bring the Swarm down to 2 or 3 wounds left, and in the process, 2 Forsaken are killed by the Swarms. At this point, Ed moves the Temple Guard and Slann up onto the hill, does a Searing Doom onto the closer unit of warriors with the level 4 Death Mage, killing 1 warrior. The Forsaken and BSB, it's actually the BSB kills the Swarms. There's only 1 Forsaken and he whiffed at the Swarm, and then the BSB actually destroys the unit. And that's all that really happens on that turn. This is the top of turn 7, so I did some charges. I charged both the Demon Prince and the Warriors into the Temple Guard with a Slann. We just removed the hill for convenience since there was that rubble that didn't actually exist. I also moved my BSB back out of range. He passed his March block test. I let the other Forsaken move back so there was an inch space so that he could shimmy out of the way. Did not want him receiving a charge from that big block of Saurus. I tried to cast both Doom and Darkness and Soul Blight, and both were dispelled. In the combat, 2 of my warriors die. 13 of the Temple Guard die. My level 4 Death Wizard is in combat with the champion from the Temple Guard unit, and the Demon Prince just kind of wreaks havoc on the Temple Guard unit. So at the end of this combat, there is a single Temple Guard champion and the Slann in combat with my warrior block, and but the Demon Prince is forced out of combat at that point. Because there's the champion left, the unit is still stubborn and they don't flee. In this round, there was a large magic phase for Ed, but unfortunately there weren't a lot of good targets. So he was able to put Blizzard on in combat and Earthblood. I dispelled Wild Form, but he was able to get a Spirit Leech off from the BSB, but unfortunately during the roll there were no wounds dealt to me, and then got Miasma on the Warriors, giving me -3 to my weapon skill. But even with that, my level 4 was able to actually kill the champ in the challenge, and then the Slann lost combat, took a couple wounds, lost combat, and I chased the Slann down with the Warriors. During Ed's last turn here, he attempted to charge my Forsaken, but I fled, and he redirected into the BSB, who also fled. And then at that point in time, following that, on my turn, I did a triple charge into the Saurus unit, and Ed just fled them off the board so that they wouldn't get destroyed by the Demon Prince Warrior Forsaken triple charge. So that ended the game. It was another glorious victory to the good and wonderful warriors, and we slaughtered many lizardmen. Unfortunately, because of the new change to slavery rules, I did not get any fame points from enslavement, but I ended up with 7 fame points from getting 2 champs, winning the battle over a smaller opponent, defeating 2 heroes and a lord, whereas Ed, we forgot about tokens until the end, so we just rolled off and allowed him to get 2 tokens, and then also was fighting Chaos, so he got 3 fame points from this battle. And that's it for this one. I've got Kurt this Sunday, and there will be another Warriors versus Lizardmen battle report.